You know, who of our beloved childhood icons didn't do war propaganda? Well, I mean, that were around during World War II. Disney Hitler, I love you. You want to feel uncomfortable? Dig you up some old World War II era Dr. Seuss.
Someday the German people might be cured of their disease. The super race disease.
Or if you want to feel really uncomfortable, check out some of the old Warner Brothers cartoons.
Here's some scrap iron for Japan, Moto.
Oh, Bugs, you racist. Since the Japanese attacked the US Navy while the Germans did not, anti-Japanese sentiment popped up in a very pronounced way that is really awkward to look at today. But when you look at what Disney was producing at the time, I get the impression that they had a little bit of foresight and kept the race-related bile to a minimum.
Hitler's world and order!
But even though it's tamer than the Warner Brothers cartoons, it's still there, both for the Japanese and for the Germans. Disney wasn't doing very well financially during the Second World War, due in part to being cut off from a very lucrative foreign market. So Disney went into the business of producing war propaganda cartoons. Yes, propaganda, not just for America, but several countries. The Seven Dwarfs encouraging investment in war bonds. In Canada, the Seven Dwarfs defeating the evils of malaria in Central America. And surprisingly, Disney actually released these in a DVD set. So Nazi Donald Duck got himself a nice little DVD. A Song of the South? Army personnel were even stationed at the Disney studio, and they lived there for the duration of the war. A military officer was actually based in Walt Disney's office. Buy war bonds, donate scrap metal, pay your taxes on time. One Disney short even criticizes Nazi propagandists for appealing to emotion over reason.
Go ahead. Put reason out of the way. That's great. Fine. For Hitler.
Because American propaganda never did that. But Der Führer's Face is by far the most well-known of the propaganda shorts Disney put out at that time, and with good reason. Firstly, it features Nazi Donald saying the words Heil Hitler no less than several dozen times. Heil... Indeed, Donald. But secondly, it's really funny. Genuinely, unironically funny.
If one little shell should blow him right to...
This won the Academy Award that year for Best Animated Short, and rightly so in my book, whether it's propaganda or not. The ridiculous setting of Naziland takes the edge off a truly horrifying enemy. Donald must wake every morning at swastika o'clock in a land of swastika topiaries and swastika telephone poles where the Nazis get up every morning and apparently must heil all three of these clowns. Yeah, I don't remember hearing anything about regular Germans having to eat shitty food or no food during the war, at least the first bit. Now, you might be thinking, Hitler did many bad things, but I don't remember anything about forcing ordinary citizens like Herr Donald here to work in factories like slaves.
But still we work like slaves.
But this isn't criticizing German working conditions so much as it is comedically refuting German propaganda. Producers of the cartoon also wish to show that the working conditions in German factories were not as glorious as Hitler made them to sound in his speeches. Besides, how does one make concentration camps funny? You don't! So, mach schnell! More shells! The truly horrible stuff that Hitler does, whatever. Pink Elephant's number. Pink bombs on parade. But at the end of this, when we find out it's all a dream, he still wakes up and instinctively heils Hitler. Geez, Donald, you sure your patriotism is all that solid? Apparently in the Donald universe, the same is true for the American aesthetic. Swastika topiaries? Well, we've got Uncle Sam pajamas and curtains. Yeah, they'd never encourage blind patriotism in America. Der Führer's Face is about as funny as Donald Duck being a Nazi is gonna get. In hindsight, the whole idea is uncomfortable because it's such a dark and troubled history. But it's funny to look at it from a point of view where Hitler is being all goofy, and at that time he was still just the enemy and not quite yet history's greatest monster. Hell, it was another quarter century before there was any real mainstream Nazi comedy in theaters.
Springtime for Hitler and Germany.
But thankfully, the DoD and the military don't aid in the production of films in America anymore.
Cleared hot! Strike, tell me status. Right, 1-1, Dark Star status.
Lennox! The heat's coming!
Fight the target! What? Bring it!
Oh, right.